Yeah, we're going to talk about Prop 64 and how it's genocidal. So that's going to be the topic today, and the call-in number is going to be at the bottom of the screen. We're going to go live, and the show is going to be about the DCCC revisiting their vote to endorse Prop 64 because everybody who reads it finds out how toxic it is, and then we're going to get the clubs to start seeing through the deception that is Prop 64. Yeah, we've got a red alert going on for sure. If you like to give away free cannabis or receive free cannabis, that's about to be made illegal if this passes, Prop 64 here. So, and Jane Kim opposes Prop 64, as does Senator Bernie Sanders, and Petra de Jesus. People, one by one, that aren't corporate, in with corporations, are against this. So the list is growing, and I hope it grows fast enough and we defeat this, because let's just start out with the DCCC. They did decide to revisit their endorsement of Prop 64, and that's going to be on the 21st of October at their meeting in the Milton Marks Auditorium down in the basement of the State Building at 455 Golden Gate. So please, if you can, come to the meeting and say no on 64. So this is what this is our show, Weed Wars, and we're at war. We can't lie about it. We're at war here. We're at war against the police and the Monsanto who want to give all the money that they get from the increased fines to the police to police us some more. So because it's really written deceptively, deliberately, and actually the ballots came out today. I got one as I was leaving the building to come down here. They were delivering them to my mailbox, and I heard through the grapevine that the ballot arguments against Prop 64 are mainly from a law enforcement point of view and not from other real people's point of view. That should a progressive's point of view, because to oppose this, you have to be progressive. So that's what I'm saying. You have to be real progressives oppose this. So right after I leave this show, I'm going to go to the League of Pissed Off Voters and tell them please change black line their endorsement of Prop 64. And that's what needs to happen. I've got to scream and yell, and please help me scream and yell. It has to. There has to be sharing of my tweets on Twitter. So here we go. I mean, they're treating us like sheep. Here's a tweet I like. Now, let's have a look at this. What would Prop 64 look like if it was for alcohol legalization? Only 6 bottles of beer per property, and you must only drink it inside your home, but only if the city allows you to have it. You must choose 8 ounces of liquor and cannot have more than that. If we catch you with more, we will fine you, and if you do it again, you will be put into prison. Don't forget the 40% tax. Yeah, patients will be paying 30% taxes, so you'll be paying, if you're a patient, you're going to be paying 30% more for your medicine besides all the other fees it's going to cost. Oh, an eighth is going to be 100 or more. Yeah, if you can buy it in that city, because 75% of cities and counties you can't grow it, so it's already. I don't know how they'd want to vote yes if they're not voting to legalize anything where they live. Think about it. So there's that, and because we've worked hard for 20 years. 20 years, we've gained a lot. From 1996, we had it really good with being able to grow as much medicine as we need. Did you see anybody dying from it? I haven't. See, nobody's died. But people, and most of the people in jail they're only 0.3% of people in jail are in jail for pot, and that's for selling. And Prop 64 will not change that one bit. So don't be fooled. 1 acre of pot produces 4 times the oxygen of 1 acre of trees. And it's nitrogen fixing, so that means it doesn't deplete the soil. Wine takes a lot more fertilizer. And the government holds patents on cannabis. And see, hemp was a leading cash crop, of course, and even our Constitution's written on it. It was patriotic to grow it. And so how did we get to where we are now? Oh, it was the petrochemicals companies. Hemp oil can be used as an industrial lubricant. I'm reading this from a guy on Brandy Prado. He's a fellow that posted on Facebook. Maybe it's a girl. Sorry about that. But pot was legal in the U.S. until the oil and timber and pharmaceutical industries lobbied for criminalization. Rockefeller mostly led that charge. Bush Sr. had his life saved by a hemp parachute. That's funny. So actually it's the petrochemical companies since the 1930s. It seems like it's been off. So now we've changed our phone number to call in. So my call-in guest didn't know the number. So I'm going to ring her up because we need to hear from Shona, and she's expecting my call. So let's ring her up. And while we're waiting for her, now there's this, I've got this on Twitter, you can share this, and it's Progressives Against the Props. Hello, Shona, my educational director for Axis of Love. How have you been?
I've been all right. How have you been?
Great. So we're getting this out. I'm going over these 14 points I've got written down from Dragonfly. What anything new with that you can report?
Well, I think the most important, element for people to understand and some things that have recently transpired is that there are really 2 separate camps that are working against Prop 64. So you have some folks in the marijuana community that have decided that it is okay to get in bed with the prison guard union who opposes 64. And then you have folks like our organization, Axis of Love, and you have Patient Advocacy Network and other more, I don't know, I want to say more reasonable, as adverse to say more enlightened folks that would not ever get in bed with the sadistic folks of the California Prison Guard Union just to get a win. It's not if you win, it's also how you win. And I'm sure that, you yourself, Denise, as a person who had your own father in California prison system, we're not going to do anything to win. So that's one development that happened recently. I think the other development that's happening that's very important is you have a lot of people like myself, lawyers like George Moll and Omar Figueroa, who are looking at how do we repair, how do we deal with the aftermath of a possible passage, because the numbers aren't looking good. If this bill gets killed, it will get killed by, unfortunately, the red counties, because the activists have been purposefully and diligently separated from each other, starting from One Drug Policy Alliance, beat up every other community ballot measure, and assured that we were all defunded. So, I mean, this has been a really brutal drug war. And, in my mind, I want people to keep the focus on, how do we repair and how do we educate? because before the vote we need to educate as many people, and after the vote we have to do a lot of reparations.
How about going to the League of Pissed Off Voters with me right after this show over on Larkin Street?
Well, I would love to be able to move around, but I have a very sick loved one, so unfortunately most of this campaign cycle I have been kind of in lockdown caring for an elderly family member.
I see. Well, I'm going to make that meeting, and I've sent them links from Dragonfly LaLuz. So.
Right, and Dragonfly will be speaking at our upcoming town hall, which will be October 21st. Doors open at 7 p.m. at 518 Valencia, which is the historic Eric Isada Community Center, and it also houses the Freedom Archive, so it's a big part of San Francisco resistance community, and so we're going to do a lot of educating that night, and the League of Voters, I hope, will send a representative, and I think what we're looking for right now is for someone to hand us a bunch of black Sharpies and let us go through and just black that out.
I already bought a package of black Sharpies the other day just for that reason. I'm going to go to the SF. I'm going to all these slate parties, and I'm going to bring my Sharpies.
Well, I think what we do is we grab all the slates that we can, we create our own, and we do the educating as best we can. And we have, a really important resolution that will be entered at the end of October through the DCCC with...
for Sanctuary City?
What's that?
For Sanctuary City policy?
Well, what I'm going to do when I craft that is it's going to be a heavy hitter. I mean, we're going to look at how to prevent police from entering poor people's lives, because the biggest part of the hesitancy of the lawyers in the cannabis community to go against this is that it reduces some of the felonies to misdemeanors, and they have clients paying wealthy people who have been paying them who want that felony moved to a misdemeanor, right? So they have financial incentive to not actually fully go against 64. And where we come from is with the open container, with the public smoking.
Yeah, talk about that.
The people that they're going to capture are not going to be people that can afford expensive cannabis lawyers for reductions of felonies to misdemeanors. The people that they're going to capture are going to spend 6 months in a county jail and then be marked for private prison entrance after they get jumped by gangs in county jail. So it's a very scary Nazi-esque plan that they have devised, and I think the Prison Guard Union is playing both sides because they have a lot to gain through the passage of 64. They have a human captives to gain.
You mean corporate concentration camps? Yeah, forced labor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting how law is. A lot of people call Abraham Lincoln the great emancipator, right? But what actually it did was it created a different type of institutionalized slavery. So right then and there, when they did that, they were very aware that they were switching from a plantation system to a prison system. And directly after Abraham Lincoln signed the proclamation, he took out a series of Sioux Indians and shot them to death. So he is no great emancipator, and
okay.
Really don't.
Well, Shona, what do people have to lose when this passes? My viewers probably need to know what's going on. Like, how many rights are they going to lose if they get caught toking in public?
A lot of people, the losing of rights. Nothing gave us rights. Okay?
Well, why are they saying that?
It did not give you any rights. It gave you an affirmative defense. So you need to stop reiterating that your rights are being taken away, because we've never been given rights around the cannabis plant. You have to be legally correct, which Letitia, and unfortunately some of Dragonfly stuff isn't exact on that point, but let me be exact on that point.
Okay.
What we're having taken away is a lot of ticketing is going to happen. The open container law. So we don't have any legal definition of what an open container is. That means that any poor person, any person that is on the street that a police officer can have an interaction with, that police officer can decide what an open container is. And if you get more than 3 tickets, then you're looking at jail time. So what we're looking at is an urban poor situation of continued harassment around cannabis.
Because people living outside have nowhere else to smoke it.
Well, you're also looking at, in these gated communities up north, California, these rich people are going to be harassed in a gated community for an open container. The only people that are going to be targeted and harassed by police and put into the county jail system are going to be the very, very poor, so the homeless, the transient populations of California, and urban young adults. So when you look at who they're targeting, and then you look at that, someone like Jay-Z, it's a hard knock life. Well, obviously Jay-Z doesn't know enough about policy.
Yeah,
right?
I know. No, he doesn't. Now, is Prop 64 irrevocable by Sacramento legislature?
Well, so to be very clear about that, too, because you want to be clear on your points, it cannot, when they're saying it's irrevocable, my understanding of it is that they cannot say go back and move things from a misdemeanor back into a felony. So, and it has 2 movable sections, which are Section 5 and Section 6, which are the rules and the regulations. So, you don't want a situation where you have a law where you're changing something from a felony to a misdemeanor to give the legislator an opportunity to change it back to a felony. And so that inside of there is actually very effective and useful. It's not something that harms patients' rights. It's something that increases patients' and consumers' protections. You don't want them to be able to go and move it back to felony, right? But what you don't want is the rest of the law around it. So there are some good things in 64, but it's going to be a process of taking out a lot of the harmful things that are going to be issued from this and dealing with the monopoly that it creates. Because
Well, 6 plants is just not enough. 6 plants is ridiculous for per property. What if there's more than one patient? There's all that. More or less.
So the 6 plants are not for patients. You have to be clear on your legal points. So as a patient, you can still grow as many plants as your local county allows, which in San Francisco, it's 24 per patient, not per property. The 6 plants per property is for adult use. So that's for people that are consumers. So harping on that point,
but Shona, wait a minute.
Not.
How many patients the patients today will not be the patients of tomorrow?
That is the very key point.
That's what I'm saying.
To the key point where patients should be upset about.
There won't be any patients.
Hold on, Denise. This is the reason why patients should be upset about MRSA and 64 is because they're going to re-look at qualifying conditions. So that is the golden, egg of Prop 215 was that it contained the verbiage and any other condition that cannabis is helpful for. So we needed a decision between you and your physician. Now it's revised because they want to limit the number of patients so that they have more tax revenue to gain from the consumer population. And let's face it, there's a lot of consumers that can easily switch over to the consumer arena and pay taxes, and that's fine. But what's not fine is that the patients that are authentically patients are being stripped of life-saving medicine, and that's the battle. Those are the real battlegrounds, I would say.
Of course.
Is the changing of what conditions qualify patients, and also
And low
the increase,
THC.
the triple-fold increase in prices, and it comes from not just Prop 64, it comes from MRSA as well, which were made to go together by the same one single lobbyist community. So.
And nobody's in jail for an ounce right now. They make all these claims.
Nobody. That's a straw argument. As I was having that debate with Chris Conrad online, which I think you were a part of, Denise.
Yes.
I happened to just be watching television, and the police chiefs have come out and said there's nobody in their jails for that. That it's a completely inaccurate argument. So on both sides, you have, people that are saying that they're giving legal education, like Letitia Pepper, and other people who are not quite hitting the accurate points. And then you have the people like Chris Conrad saying, making up a straw arguments that somehow people are going to be released under Prop 64, which is completely invalid.
No, you got to do your time.
Nobody is going to be released from that. People are going to be released under Prop 47, which is, something that the voters already passed. So it's a lot of trickery.
Well, can we ever overturn this? Shona, can we overturn this trickery anyhow? Isn't there any kind of legal thing? I mean, a judge ruled that this thing is deliberately confusing.
Right, and I think there's going to be a lot of legal battles after November that are going to hold this up in the courts of California, maybe for years to come.
Let's do it.
Because a lot of the business owners will realize that patient advocates like myself and Dragonfly have not steered them wrong, that they are going to be losing their businesses, and they're going to enter the fight with some funds finally and go and take these guys to court.
It's a bit late.
They should have done that last year, but they were misled, and they were not listening to policy readers like myself and Dragonfly, who've been at this for years. It's so sad. But, maybe it'll shine the light on organizations like Drug Policy Alliance, which have practiced,
Okay, we have 10. Okay, Shona, we're going to have to end it there. And thank you for your input. And we have that, remind them of that on the October 21st, 518 Eric Casada Center on Valencia.
At 7 p.m. the doors will open.
All right, education for Prop 64. All right, adopt a shelter pet. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.